Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. So today I have invited Abhishek in our channel, and in this video we will talk everything about Google front-end interview. So hello Abhishek, thank you for accepting my invitation. So could you please give us your quick introduction so that our viewer will get to know about you?
Hey guys, I'm Abhishek. I'm currently working as a full stack developer in Microsoft, and I have a lot of experience in web development and data structures. Plus, I have some interest in fields like AI and machine learning. And here, I on YouTube, I have a channel also. I have multiple channels. One channel is fully focused on the technical content, and one channel is focused on purely like what is it, tech knowledge, which is basically in Hindi. So, in case if you want to explore that, do check them out.
Yeah, so that's great. I personally visited his channel and I found he is posting really great content. So I will post the channel link in the description. So please check out description for the Abhishek channel link. So the second question I want to ask that how you got interview opportunity from Google for the front end role.
So what basically happened? I made my LinkedIn profile quite open, like open for jobs. Okay, and there were a number of opportunities. Like one was from Amazon and one was from Google. Okay, like I got a DM. You get it from some of the HRs, right? First of all, I was not confident enough. Should I proceed for that interview or not? Like Google, it's already quite hard. But I saw let's take it. Let's take the chance. Let's see what happens. Anyway, getting rejection is already a probability is quite high, right? So I went with a call. There were some rounds of calls and all that. After that, basically the interview proceeded.
Yeah, so that's great. I have also given Google interview and I got rejection in the both. Like I got first interview in the August and the second interview in this December. Yes, and in that interview also I got rejection after 5 round of interview. So yeah, getting rejection at Google interview is having a really high probability. So second question I want to ask that could you please share your interview experience of Google? Like what kind of question they asked you during the interview?
Okay, so see how it started. So after the interview, like after the first call with them. So first call was not the first round; it was normal a first call in which they gave me like how much time do you want to prepare for it. I was like too confused what to say to them, like because I thought that if I ask them a lot of time, they will cancel my interview and all that. So I just told 2 weeks. Okay, and in that 2 weeks there were a lot of things. I went to my village, I came back, even studied a little. Okay, and then basically the interview started. So this is how they divided the interview. They divided the interview into 4 parts. The first 3 were the technical rounds. Fourth was not the technical round. So this is how it started. For the first and second round, it was more a data section algorithm round. They also shared me a sheet. This is just a guide. This is how you can prepare. Okay, it was not, there were no questions and all that. There were some website links and some steps which you should follow to practice it. And the worst thing was the thing that it told me that you are not allowed to use any editors. You have to write on Google Docs. So you can say it's a promotion of their product. No one likes writing on Google Docs. Okay. So data structures algorithm round for me, like the first and second round data structure algorithm round, it was around 40 minutes in which they give you 2 questions and a break of 5 minutes. I think 45 minutes. Okay, and so first and second round was almost good for me. So the questions were like for me the questions were of trees and it was more like a recursion question and one linked list question. So basically the question evolved from data structures and algorithm. And if you ask me about the level of questions, I will say 2 questions you can put it in like lead code hard. Like lead code, if I take it as a standard, okay, you can put 2 questions in lead code hard. And I don't know where the remaining 2 questions, where it came from. Okay, I just could not get through it. Okay, you can say even a level above your lead code hard. Okay, so basically means you have to be very, very thorough with lead code hard. If you can solve your lead code hard well, I think you can do something there. Okay. So then after that, I went to my third round of the interview. So I think you have already seen a lot of thing on the first and 2 round data structures and algorithm. Okay, so I'm not exploring it a lot. I'm focusing on the third round, which was a front end round. Okay, to be honest, Google was also a little partial about the third round. How? For the first and second round, they gave me a doc which has enough resource to study from. Where do we study? How do we study? How should you prepare? Each and every guide was basically mentioned. When it came to front end, they mentioned 4 topics. Okay, go through these topics. Okay, and they told me also it's not too complete, but they should have done it, right? Anyway, So what I feel from their front end interview, like to be honest, from their doc, it was not quite clear how should I prepare for it, and I was also not very confident. Like how should I? As a front end developer, we have given a lot of interviews in a product based company and startups and all that. But when you think about Google, the expectation comes in your mind is totally different. And even I read a lot of articles on internet. How is the front end interview? I did not find any good resource through which I can really practice it. Okay. So in general, what I felt about the interview is heavily focused on JavaScript, the JavaScript advanced part. Like if you say ES6 feature, promises, fetch. So what will they like? For me, the questions were like this. They will give you a very complicated API to access it. Of course, you just cannot access it. You have to use promises and all that. Then they will tell you, check out the test cases and all that. You are already confused in that scenario, but those things you have to basically do. So what I'll recommend is master the advanced part of JavaScript. They did not went to React or something. Okay, they just kept their focus on JavaScript. So if your JavaScript, of course, fundamentals should be anyway clear. If your advanced JavaScript is quite clear, like topics like what is a proto, like one of the top prototype in which like most of you are confused. So like I will say prototype is one of the very important topic. Then if you go like complete ES6 features is quite important, especially if I say promises and fetch. Okay, in case if you go through this topic well, do like what is it, lots of scenario based question on these topic. I'll say you can clear a front end interview. For me, it was a difficulty because for data structures algorithm, I felt confident. Okay, yeah, I know data structure algorithm well. Plus, I can relate it to others. Okay, but for front end interview, the problem came to me. I was already quite frightened before that round, and the questions made me fright more. Anyway, I was not very prepared for that round, and ultimately I got rejected.
So we generally have perception in our mind that Google only asks DSA, but it all depends upon the role. Generally for software engineer and professor, they ask only DSA. But if you will apply for the experienced role like front-end developer, back-end developer, Android developer, then they do ask question related to domain like JavaScript, and for Android they might ask question from like what is Java and different tools for Android. So yeah, you should not have such kind of perception in your mind that Google only asks question from DSA. Yeah, they do ask question from DSA like for few round, but they will also ask question related to development. So hopefully in this video you will get to know about lots about how you can prepare for like how your interview will look like after few years, like after few years of experience. So this is really a great video, I think, for that purpose. So last question I want to ask from you is like lots of our viewers are fresher college students. So what advice you want to give them? And before asking the last question, I want to say that actually this platform is brought to you by Newton School, and I and Abhishek both contribute at Newton School YouTube channel. So for this reason, I want to say that Newton School is starting a new batch, a March batch. So you can find the link for applying for the March batch in the description. So please check out description for that, and at least visit the website of Newton School. You can also find the link for that in the description, and you can also join our Telegram group. So could you please answer this question where how a fresher and someone who is watching this video should prepare for different kind of interview like Google, Microsoft, this kind of company?
Okay, guys. So what I think now, like, see, many of you, like, see, in case if you know a topic well, like whether it's data structures or front end, in the interview, it's not about the problem that you don't know a topic. If you don't know a topic, of course, you cannot do anything. If you know a topic, the problem is like when you get a question now, it's become very difficult to select that question. This question lies like which concepts should I apply to these questions, and that is really a troublesome process. Like whether you are studying data structures or front end. So what will I say? Of course, when you study data structures or front end, you solve a lot of questions based on that topic. For example, if you are studying, let's suppose promises, so you solve several questions on promises. Now that is what not Google is looking for, that you know promises or not. Okay, they are like any good companies. What they are looking for, if I give you a real-time scenario, are you able to think that promises will be applied here? So what I'll say, solves a lot of questions based on a certain topic. Then take a category of questions and then don't see in what topic they are lining. Whether the question, it can be solved by anything, like whether, if you talk about data structure, it can be solved by like linked list, or it can also be solved by stacks or array, whatever algorithms can be applied. Similarly in the JavaScript. So pick a problem and try to think what particular concept will be applied. or what are the different concepts that can be applied here to solve that particular question. If there are multiple concepts applied, choose a concept. Which concept should you go with, and why you should not go with the other concept. This is quite important, number one. Number two, whenever you solve a certain question, make sure test out, like we have a habit of clicking on run button again and again whenever we solve it. Try to overcome that habit. Whenever you solve a question, I'll tell you a general two things. So don't click on run button. Be confident what will be your output. Even it is wrong, no problem. But be sure that this is the wrong output I am going to get. So what will happen? You will slowly develop your debugging skills. Like as a developer, this is quite important. If your code, 1,000 line of code, you got an error, it's very difficult to debug out if you don't develop that skill. Number one. Number two, now if your question is correct, it is only correct on the input that you are passing, right? So I will say, think of some test cases. Like what are the edge test cases? How will you think of the edge test cases? Some simple examples can be like you thought of a problem for like positive numbers. Try to think what will happen in negative numbers. What will happen when you put a zero number? What will happen when you put a very large number? In any kind of scenario, just try to think of the edge cases. And in case if you're not able to think of a lot of edge cases, what you can do, like try to think of the some edge cases, okay? And then slowly you will be able to think more and more test cases. And like I'll tell you one experience that happened to me at Amazon interview just after like as a fresher when I give. So in the, I think it was second round, okay, they have a pen and paper round in the second, okay, in which they gave us three questions. The first was a normal question in which it was related to linked list, and second question was also a linked list question, but I had to write test case there, okay. So I dealt with the positive numbers. That was all. And because we did not have a habit, right? You think it's easy, I can write the test cases, but when it comes to real time, you'll not be able to write it. Then, okay, after a while, thought, okay, there can be more test cases possible. So I wrote negative number also. Then I realized, oh, I missed zero. I'll write zero also. Okay, so once you have a practice, you'll be able to see things more clearly after certain time. That's all from my side.
Yeah, so that's great. These are really important advices. We generally underestimate the power of test cases. So this is really important. Whenever we solve question, try to figure out at what test case this question will fail, this solution will fail. Don't just click a run button. Yeah, so this is really a great advice. So that's all about this video. I have covered all those points. So thank you for watching this video. And if you haven't subscribed our channel, then please subscribe this channel. And you can also visit Abhishek's channel. I will put the link in the description. So that's all. Thank you so much.